Good morning. Today, I want to share with you the story of how I met the love of my life, my husband. And the reason is because I speak with so many women and people I'm friends with, to people I coach, to people I just meet everywhere. And today I had an interaction with a woman that I'm in a group with who is manifesting the man of her dreams. And I've shared this story before, but I really feel like it's worth repeating for people that are looking to have the love that they are worthy of. It starts with how I manifested Mr. Dead Wrong. When I married first, I was very concerned with getting married unconsciously. I didn't realize that I had attached my worth to whether or not a man was going to choose me. And looking back, it's really clear in right down to my childhood games. But at the time, I had no idea. I was building a private practice as a psychotherapist. I had a great job. I was successful from all standpoints. I really looked like I had it all together. I was in therapy. I was doing therapy. I thought I was conscious of everything and doing everything just right. But it turned out that there was a very, very deep and damaging unconscious process that was going on. And as I got older, I got more concerned about not being chosen. And I married someone who I don't think I was ever really in love with, but there was a whole host of reasons why we just weren't good for each other. We just weren't a good match. He was also a recovering addictions counselor. I was a couples therapist. And during our marriage, he relapsed on pain medication. And that led to a whole bunch of Jerry Springer moments that included him nearly lighting one of my mentor's house on fire when he caught on fire and was on so much pain meds he didn't know he was on fire, and damaging her fluffy white cloud-like rug, and all kinds of mortification that I went through because at the time, I believed that his behavior was some type of reflection on me, and I just wanted everything to be normal. I just wanted to be a normal person, and I was unconsciously so much more concerned with how things looked to everyone else than how things felt inside of me. So, in an absolute, the biggest moment of mortification in my entire life, the day before I was scheduled to leave my ex-husband with my 2-year-old son, he called 911. We had had a scuffle, which we had never had before, and he was on so many pain meds that he couldn't tell the 911 operator the proper address. He shoved me to the ground that morning, and I slapped him, and he called 911. They came out. He told them his version, which didn't include him shoving me at all. And I, of course, who was always taking my part and super hyper aware and wanted to protect him from going to jail. He could barely put his underwear on, let alone, spend time in a precinct. Said, I've just become a control freak and it's fine, we're going to be fine. But what I didn't know is that by law, they were required to arrest someone. And so they arrested me. And because it took so long to get to the precinct, because they pretty much treat everybody the same, whether you're, dealing drugs on the street or whether you're living in a suburb and have a graduate degree, there were no judges to hear my case. And I had to stay the night in jail. And I will never regret that because it literally took me getting to that low of a point where in the middle of the night or before I went to sleep, I had this thought, no one deserves what's happening to me right now. No one deserves this treatment. And I probably included all the rest of the years before that, all stuff I had allowed. It's not anything, nobody did it to me. I allowed it. And the next thought when I thought that was, if nobody deserves it, then I don't deserve it. And if I don't deserve it, I must be worthy. And my whole life changed after that moment. Not, believe me, it didn't get immediately better. All kinds of shit went down. But Something fundamentally inside me changed when I understood that I was worthy of love and I was worthy of the love that I wanted. I didn't have to settle, and I would be fine if I was alone, and it was okay. But there was someone out there that would appreciate and love me the way that I wanted to be appreciated and loved, just the way I wanted. It didn't have to be bad about my ex. We were just different. It wasn't a good fit. And so, anyway, long story short, I got out of jail and I moved out, and it was me and my 2-year-old, and I was really, really struggling at that time because I was just a bundle of anxiety and nerves, and I couldn't sleep at night. I actually ended up going to a psychiatrist to get some medication, like some anti-anxiety medication, because I just wanted to be able to calm down at night, and I put it in my cabinet, but I never had to use it because I figured out this really interesting thing, that if I laid my pillow down at night and I began to imagine what I wanted my life to look like, and I imagined the man that I wanted to meet and the relationship that I wanted to have in full color, the house, the guy, and at this point, my husband wasn't working that much, so I imagined someone who wore a suit and a tie, and he got up early in the morning, he went to work. My husband wasn't that affectionate, and I really love affection. It's my love language. So I imagined someone who would come up and wrap his arms around me, in the middle of the day for no reason. I imagined all the things. I imagined a really great present father figure for my 2-year-old in full color, but I did it very specifically, unconsciously. I didn't realize this at the time, but I did it knowing I was worthy of it, knowing that I had love to give, that I was special, and that there was someone who wanted my love as much as I wanted theirs, and I was worthy of having someone. I didn't have to pay for everything like I had been all the time. Like I didn't have to always have my card out first. I didn't have to always almost apologize for my presence or feel lucky if someone wanted to go out with me. I was worthy of it. And I understood that. I felt it in my heart, and I knew it in my brain while I was falling asleep. And 2 things happened. One is I was able to fall asleep all of a sudden because I settled my brain and my body down into such a deep comfort and knowing that I just was able to drift off to sleep. And so I started doing it every night because it was the only thing that would get me to sleep. Otherwise, I'd be thinking about, oh my God, what next? And my son and this, and what have I done? And I feel so guilty, and yada, yada, yada. So I did that. And 30 days later, lo and behold, I met my husband. And it wasn't until many years later that I learned about how the brain works, and that I learned about, that was even many, many years later, but many years after that, I learned about the law of attraction, and I learned about visualization and things like that. And then many years later, I learned about the neuroscience behind all of this and how it actually works. At this time, I was just trying to sleep. But all of you women out there, there's so many that I know, so many incredible, really incredible women who are working on themselves in lots of different ways, as I am as well, because I can be perfectly honest with you. There are definitely areas of my life where I am not embodying my worthiness, and that's my new work. Like if I could just do that, what I did then in this area of my life, I know things would transform there, right? And so that's what I'm working toward. We're all a work in progress. But I wanted to share this story again with women who are maybe looking for this in your life, and to really understand that it's going to come down to your feeling worthy. Not just feeling, knowing. Really knowing. And you have to be able to get quiet in your brain and body, and you have to be able to plug in to that worthiness on a regular, daily basis. And visualize what you want while you're feeling that emotion. And then act all day long as though as if you are that person who's worthy. So for example, I turned dates down with guys at that point who, wanted to say, oh yeah, I'll meet you at 6:30. I got to leave at 7. I was like, nah, I'm not getting a babysitter for that, right? The old me might have done that, The old me might have been like, oh, sure, I'll take 30 minutes and see if this is the right guy and see if he likes me. No, I stopped doing that. I started interviewing people. Do I like them? That's all I care about. I don't care if you like me. Do I like you? Then we'll move on to do you like me? So anyway, I hope this is helpful, and I'd love to hear your experience and your comments if you have anything to add. Have a great day.